Go. Hi, I'm Logan, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about relationships between mushrooms and bees, and whether or not mushrooms can play a role in bee conservation. Sneak peek, we think that they can. Fungi, there are good fungi and bad fungi in the bee world. We're kind of familiar with one of these bad fungi, Ascopharia apis, or chalkbrood. I may not have pronounced that right, but we've seen chalkbrood in the lab and we're familiar with how detrimental it can be to a colony. An example of a good fungus, Metarhizium anisopliae. This is a good fungus. It's found in soil, and it's also been found to reduce varroa mites. In this picture you can see it's actually kind of eating the varroa mite, which is kind of neat. This was found in 2010. However, this isn't super fast acting, so there's still a need for some potential fungal treatments that work a little faster. So there's some exciting research going on at Washington State with this gentleman here. This is Paul Stamets. He researches fungi and all kinds of different applications, and right now he's looking at whether or not certain fungal extracts could be used to treat or prevent viruses in bees. In particular, Lake Sinai virus and deformed wing virus. So right here is an example of what happens when poor little guy gets deformed wing virus. And he's doing that using polypore fungal extracts, and this is an example of a polypore mushroom. Typically we see them growing on trees. So to do this is just a broad overview of what he did with this research. They cultivated 4 types of fungi, which you can see below. And what they did was they collected extracts from these fungi in a solution, so they grew them in the lab. This is an example of what that would look like. Ground them up, concentrated them, and then extracted the liquid exudates and used that in a sugar solution to treat bees with. So bees were fed these liquid extracts after initial virus levels were established. At day 0, they used qPCR on select bees from the groups to say, okay, they have X amount of virus in this colony. They were fed the different fungal extracts over the course of 12 days. And then on day 12, qPCR was done again to determine the virus levels. So some really exciting, there were some very exciting findings with this. Colonies that were fed that G. renaceum, so that would have been this fungus here. These colonies saw a 75-fold reduction in deformed wing virus and a 45,000-fold reduction in Lake Sinai virus, so that's huge. And then colonies that were fed this Fomes fomentarius, which would have been this guy here, so extracts of that, saw Lake Sinai virus levels lowered 88 times greater than control colonies. So control colonies were just fed plain sugar water, whereas everybody else got sugar water plus an extract from a certain mushroom. So you could see these results in these tables up here. And then this is just an example of what it would have looked like feeding bees out at the apiary. So this project and this research is kind of in the early stages of development. There's a lot more work to be done, but it shows a lot of potential. At the moment, there's not quite a good way to produce these extracts in bulk, so that's one big issue to be overcome. And then also understanding the exact mechanisms of how this treatment works, what's happening chemically and biologically, needs to be fleshed out a little more too. However, this research does show a lot of promise, and it'll be exciting to see where it goes next, because I think Washington State is definitely going to keep going with it. So thank you. Hope you learned something new about bees and mushrooms. We did it. Hope it was recording. Oh, it was.